Good day, everyone. It's Sunday, and today is the new moon tide, and it's actually a special moon. And with a new moon tide, you always get severe high and low tides at the full and the new, but the new moon is always more extreme. And gosh, is it extreme today, because today the beach isn't just partially covered. The end of my path here, where the beach begins, it's just the sea. And how I really noticed, I should have come out a bit earlier as the tide was even a bit higher, almost up to the kayak. I noticed all this flotsam and jetsam floating out to sea, and I thought, that's odd, what's out in the harbor? And then I realized it's all the salt hay and detritus that normally collects up and rolls and tumbles up on our shore, which I luckily use for compost and also plant fertilizer. But it came up so high that it's taken out great clumps of salt hay out to sea. But of course, it will probably wind its way back in. But the jetty, the stone jetty brick wall across the harbor, is completely underwater. And you can see I can't even walk to our large stone pile there. And if you were to go now to the dock, the very end of the dock would be under the sea. For this is the time when you get the most severe new moon tide, that the dock itself gets submerged under the sea. And the spitting rock looks just like a little pebble floating in a pond. The sound is exceptionally nice today as well. I'm not sure if I can pick it up. The crows are out in the distance. But that sound, where it's coming up this high to hit the rocks, a new moon tide sound. I'm interested to catalog all the sounds. Oh, my Wellies just got him a drink. I have to laugh because I saw a comment that someone said my video gave new meaning to the term watching paint dry, which I had to laugh because this is definitely not a fast-paced channel. If one's into the quick 15-second movements of TikTok, you will not be happy on my channel. You can see as I'm just coming through the little field because I couldn't walk the beach. So I'm coming through the little field to the edge. I think I'm going to try to go from here because the tide has gone out a tiny bit. I think I can just skirt the edge of the beach here to get to the dock up until about that copse of trees. Then I'll have to work my way back up into the fields, but that's all right. I wanted to share the beauty of the new moon tide. Oh, I love these. This is like bits of old brick rolled and rolled. It might be sandstone, but I've seen it in various stages, and there are many old bricks. There's a spot on our walk with an old brick foundation, again from another house, that had to be let go a century ago. And so now the brick foundation sits close to the edge of the shore, and bricks will break off into the sea. So I don't know if this is just a form of sandstone, but whenever I find this stone in this color, I always imagine it's just a bit of brick from an old house, forgotten, rolling and turning in the sea for 100 years until it finds its way to the shore again. It makes a lovely red color on one's fingers, so you can actually use it a bit like chalk. It's kind of fun to use in a sketch because you can rub it on paper. So if I remember to turn my camera on when I do that, I'll show that. But yes, you can see if it were just a couple hours earlier, I wouldn't be here, I'd be up in the field. But it's kind of nice to walk in all this salte, that which hasn't been sent out to sea. But we're never at a loss for this stuff. Oh, but I just wanted you to see the tide. Oh, we just missed it. So at the very end, the dock is just exposed, but again, just a couple hours earlier, but of course it was still dark out, and I was in my dressing gown, enjoying the fire in the sitting room, having my morning reading time, so I wouldn't have been able to see it in any case. But I still like to share how different the dock appears when the tides are at varying levels. Today it might be so low you'll be able to walk under, but at the very edge where we that area is dredged so the boats can get in and out. That of course always has water in, even at the lowest of tides. Okay, I'm up into the field now. There's the old stone wall, the copse of junipers full of berries the birds love, makes good gin. Okay, here we are at the dock, and now I can walk out on it because the end isn't, I mean, I was going to walk out on it anyway, but isn't it fun to see how close the water is to the edge? And see all the little eddies, little rivulets, little movements of the water on this side of the dock as the tide is receding. So on this side, can you see that curve, that beautiful line as it hits the fisherman's line? And the seaweed and salte is caught up on it, and you can see the turn and how quickly the tide is receding. So it's moving out that way, and look how high. You can see why the fisherman's dock is left to float, because today, at this tide, if he had to get on, he'd merely have to step up one little step to get on and do his day's work. So here we are, and you can see, I was not in jest. The end of the dock was indeed covered under the high tide, because here's a bit of saute and our drowned man's fingers caught up, because just probably an hour ago the tide was rushing over the top of this. In the summer when we have more daylight, I'll be sure to catch one, but look how far down this piling seems now. To think in the summer, to sit so close to the water's edge, one can slide in and out like a swimming pool and look Treasure Island, only a tiny bit of soft sand rimming the edge. The gulls are crying, but they know what's coming. With this high tide comes the low tide, and then they and their bird compatriots can just wander around on the exposed seabed, picking and choosing crabs and mussels and little fish who didn't quite make it out in time in the little rivulets and the little mini kettle ponds of salt water. Even though I know technically kettle ponds are formed by glaciers, but... And how high the neighbor's dock, their new floating dock, is sitting very, very high today. Well, I hope this was an interesting little walk blog. I'm probably going to be having a lot of walks this year. I realize, I'm just going to continue to make what I find enjoyable and what I'm doing for my day. And as I'm here, taking my morning walk, gathering artist supplies I come upon on the shore, Mother Nature saw fit to leave for me, I figured I'll share this little moment of my day. Since filming the high tide, it's of course snowed, and I just thought I'd end this Sunday's vlog with a shot of the now melting snow. We had a lovely snowstorm yesterday, and now it's warming up, and you can hear the snow sort of beginning to fall in the background and the birds chirping. But I thought I would end this vlog with the snow and say thank you for joining me, and until our next vlog, I hope you have a lovely week, and I think for now I'm going to be posting once a week on Sunday, and we shall see if that changes as the months move forward. Well, thank you for joining me, and I hope you find joy in the moment, and whatever passions you have, I hope you can indulge in them, and remember to stay creative. Cheers!